Hi everyone, we've been working really hard on this OpenHaldex controller. Ever since I brought a diff back into the house, we're trying to get a really good understanding of how all the CAN messages work, what really makes that Haldex tick. So we'll be doing some final testing here. This module here does Gen 1, it does Gen 4, and we are currently shipping one out to work on Gen 2 as well. They work in standalone modes, so if you've got no ABS controller or you don't have a stock ECU and you've fitted this to a Clio or anything else, this will work. This is our kind of test bench here. We've got a stock or relatively stock VR6 Turbo Mark 4. And today we'll just do a quick overview of how the whole system works, how we've connected it up into the OEM harness, and we'll do a walk round of how currently the wheels don't work, and if you put it into stock it will work as an OEM system, or if you make it 50-50 you'll have that diff locked up the whole time. The car's currently off, it's not doing anything exciting. We've left it in front wheel drive mode just so that you can get an idea of it here. This unit then comes with a lid, but so that I can get to the buttons easier just for testing, it's currently in front wheel drive mode. So I'll fire up the car, sorry for the noise. So this is still in front wheel drive mode, and if Callum does a quick walk round, you'll see that back wheels are perfectly stationary, the front wheels definitely are spinning. That's back wheel stationary as well. We'll go back to the unit now. Because this is a stock system, we've still got the stock as an option. The next option on this module will be 50-50, so just now the back wheels aren't spinning. Once I press this button, the system will lock up and that back wheel will then click on. That should now click. That's that diff fully locked. I can jam the handbrake on and that will stall the car. That Haldex is absolutely locked. If we want, we can go back to, you're no longer doing track days or whatever you want to do. You can put it back into stock mode, and the system will act exactly as it always has in the stock car. So you can see here that it's partially locked up just in its stock form. If I just change that to front wheel drive, it's then no longer locked at all, and if I go to 50-50 it locks all the way up. And I'm getting feedback back from the diff to say it's modulating as we would expect. The next stage is for us is to then put in a 75-25 split. Now I've got a really good understanding of how that how it ultimately locks up. I'll turn the car off just now and I'll just talk through the code just kind of quickly. So all of this is all open source. You can download it, you can tweak it to how you want, all the PCB, all of this is available so that anybody can get involved. Ultimately, the whole point of this controller is it takes CAN messages, if they exist, from your ABS unit or from your ECU, and it will edit them to suit. So if you leave it in the stock mode, it does no editing, it just passes the messages that it received and then it passes them straight back out to the diff. If you decide to then change mode, so let's say that we want it as a locked unit, it will come in here and then it will carry out some calculations, and all it's doing here is it's editing, or it's changing the CAN messages that the ECU produced, that the ABS unit produced, and it will tweak them to then decide how much lock you want. Because we now really do understand what the stock messages look like, that's how we've been able to implement the whole standalone unit. So now there's no need for a stock ABS unit or anything like that. The feedback's really good as well, so we're now starting to get we've got an understanding of what that data from the diff back looks like, so we can understand if it's overheated, if there's an issue with the clutches, how much it's locked, and all that good stuff. All of that data then gets retransmitted by this back into the stock ECU or back towards the powertrain CAN, and the FIS controller that we do, you can then go in and you can change the modes on your OpenHaldex. You can get feedback from what that diff is currently doing. We've also got the little screens as well. If you decide that you don't have an FIS unit and you're mounting it into something entirely other than that. Mounting wise, if I'd had any ideas, I would have used one of my own harnesses. I've decided just to connect into the stock harness, ultimately where the CAN breaks through and then goes to the diff. I've just connected into here, and my plan for this unit, once I've finally get the car painted, is I'll probably have it mounted in this area here, I've currently got a battery isolator, so I'll 3D print something up and it can just stay in here. You don't need access to the buttons. You know, there's an app for your phone, we've got the screens, it also incorporates into the FIS display as well. So there's loads of options for being able to control it once it's then mounted in the car. Ultimately, these are way cheaper than anything else on the market, but the reason for that is because it's supposed to be open source. I want to be, you know, the whole reason that we did this Mark IV is because we wanted it to be cheap and cheerful. It's got a Chinese turbo on it. It's not forged. It's just supposed to be a hobby. And yes, at some point I would have wanted a Haldex controller for my stock car, but I'm not spending £1,000 on it. I wanted something that everybody could get involved in. We can start, you know, once other people start getting involved in it, we can say, you know, let's add different modes. So when I go home tonight, my plan is to then add, you know, a 25-75% split. I'd quite like to incorporate some speed cut-offs or varying slippage as you start to increase speed. These are perfect for, you've got a really high-powered drag car, you can leave it in front-wheel drive mode, you can get your front tyres warmed up, and then you can put it into 50-50 once you start to do a launch. You can change it in your phone so that it then turns off once you get to a certain speed. So a really nice unit, to be honest. It's just one of the cheaper ones out there. That's the whole point of this. Sick. Do burnouts and shit.